It's Saturday evening. It's time to talk about the very best comic books in the entire comic book industry this week. And here's a hint. It's mostly indie comic books. And with me always is Drew. How you doing, Drew?
I'm doing fantastic, Wes. The indies dominated the week once again. Let's talk about these great comics this week. I can't wait to talk about some of these.
Well, before we get into the good stuff, there is a series out there that is troubling me. It's called Daredevil. There have been some of the greatest runs of all time have happened on Daredevil. It's almost a character that you can't really mess up. We've got Saladin Ahmed with Aaron Cooter. I think there are 7 issues in on this bad boy. And basically we've had Priest Matt Murdock fighting the 7 deadly sins. This week we get what Matt thinks is wrath in the form of Wolverine, even though Wolverine is currently fighting for his life on Krakoa and also doing something else in X-Force 50 and 50 other books. Wolverine is essentially everywhere. And they're having this big fight to the death. And there's this moment in the book, and this is where you know that none of this is landing the way that Saladin Ahmed imagines it's supposed to land in your mind. And Wolverine goes, I can smell it on you. You think that I'm wrath, but really I'm lust. And Matt Murdock goes, oh my goodness, he's right. I do lust for violence. It's supposed to be this big epiphany moment. And you just roll your eyes. You're like, this is not working.
This whole run has not worked. It probably pretty much from Jump Street since Saladin took over on issue 1. He had some ideas here that where it could have worked if he actually really extended things out. Like I do like the idea of Matt being a priest. That's an idea there. Okay, that's great. Now, how are you going to execute that idea? If he had just stuck with Matt being a priest, not having him jumping back into being Daredevil from issue 1 and on, it's like, no, don't do that. Let this breathe. Let this sit. Let him settle in with being a priest. Let's see him act like that and not be Daredevil for a while, and rediscover being Daredevil over time. That's something fun. That's something cool. That's unique. But no, it's just he's having it both ways with him, being a priest and being Daredevil. It doesn't work for me. Letting kids get away with stealing and beating the crap out of people on the streets, it's like, no. Matt would never condone this stuff. No priest in their right mind would ever condone this stuff. Everything about this run has been wrong, and the action has been okay, and it hasn't been any consistent art. Aaron Cooter's only done, I think, 4 issues, maybe, and they've had 3 others do fill-ins. The tone has been all over the place. Like you said, with this last issue, with it's not wrath, it's lust. It's like this series has gone into crazy town. It's silly. It's stupid. There's nothing fun or cool or thought-provoking about this series.
Well, even the idea of him becoming a priest, you can't actually just become a priest. No, they don't just go, oh, you are a priest now, you're ordained. No, you actually go to college. Years upon years of being vetted and all that stuff before you're actually allowed to be a priest. So him just all of a sudden being a priest doesn't make a whole lot of sense. He went through years to law school. You know, he actually has a vocation. And then the idea that he's going to be Daredevil. And not only is he a priest at the same time, but he's a priest that is running a school for like homeless children or whatever. We've got to the point where he's not allowed to go do Daredevil stuff because then he's basically abusing children because he's not paying attention to them. He's not taking care of them. And then it makes him look like a complete moron. It just doesn't work.
Absolutely. And I don't think Saladin Ahmed realizes that. I mean, I really think Saladin, or maybe he's thinking the reader won't realize that, or he'll think the reader think, oh, it's cool, it's different, it's unique. It's like, no. If you step back and you think critically about it, it does not work in any way, shape, or form. If he had really taken the time to show how this alternate history or whatever, that this new past for Matt, how he did go through becoming a priest.
Seminary and all that stuff.
Seminary school, but didn't get any of that. There's been none of that. It's just like none of this works. Storytelling, the action, the relationship with Bullseye, with Elektra, and the kids. Like you said, it just all one word is irresponsible.
That is a very good way of putting it. He's completely irresponsible, and he has to stop being Daredevil if he's going to be the man that they're trying to portray him right now. Now let's get into the good stuff, because like I said, there's 4 really good indie books, 1 good Marvel book, and then nothing from DC really. On the indie scene, we're definitely recommending Feral #1 from Image Comics. Tony Fleeks writing, Trish Forstner on art. You might recognize this creative team from Stray Dogs a couple of years ago. A cool series, had awesome homage covers and all that kind of stuff. There we had puppies, basically in a horror setting, and now we're getting cats in a horror setting. We've got a couple of wayward cats. Actually, I guess it's 3. They've been picked up by the pound or whatever. They're being taken in. There's a wreck, and all of a sudden things aren't quite what you thought they were going to be. I was not expecting 28 Days Later with cats from the Aristocats from Disney or whatever, but that's basically what this is.
Yeah, and I loved it. I've been waiting for this issue in this series for so long. I know Trish very well. When she was telling me about this series, that they had this plan so long ago, what was going to happen, I was just so anxious to read this. And it did not disappoint on any way, shape, or form. But what separates these is that Stray Dogs is more Silence of the Lambs. Like you said, this is more Dawn of the Dead 28 days later. So like a zombie outbreak, but with rabies. And it infects cats. So we have cats trying to survive after a car accident by the pound, and they're trying to find their friend who's missing, and while dealing with other animals that have been infected with this new strain of rabies. Got the human perspective in this as well, with the humans describing how bad it's getting with some of the cats. I love horror movies. I love zombie movies. And I hate cats. So this is my dream comic. They get me to care for these characters. They get me to care for these cats. And I hope they survive. Trish does that so terrifically in this. She illustrates emotion so well that I can't help but be concerned for them, even if I hate them. But Trish, Tony, and Tone have done a masterpiece here. They got a masterpiece in our hands here. And please do check this out. It's terrific. You will not regret it.
Absolutely. If you really like Stray Dogs, this is a comic book that you don't want to miss. Maybe if you just like cats, maybe this is the one for you. Also out this week, The Goon, Them That Don't Stay Dead, #1, Dark Horse. Eric Powell writing and illustrating. This is the first time I've ever read The Goon. The artwork itself by Eric Powell is awesome. It's done in black and white. You get to see all those wonderful pencils. I'm speaking directly to you, Eric O'Sullivan. This is the book that you've always wanted. And it's got a nice sense of humor to it. It's certainly a period piece about this character, The Goon. There are a couple of moments that I didn't think were amazing, but for the most part, for a character that I didn't know who he was, and I'm not sure who the kid with the duck is, I think it plays out pretty well.
Yeah, I will say of all the books this week, this is the one I think was my lower recommendations this week. But I do agree. Like, I've been a fan of Eric Powell going back 20 years at this point. His stuff in The Goon, it was fun, it was terrific. And I love what he did on Action Comics with Jeff Johns and Richard Donner when we were retelling a new Superman story. It was in Bizarro World. Eric Powell did the art. It was amazing. I will say here, for me, the jokes, some do land. Like, I do love some of the visual jokes, like the opium stuff. Like, there's like an opium advertisement, one of the walls. I thought it was pretty damn funny. But there's some pretty heavy-handed jokes in this early on. It's like, that's Mark Russell level of humor right there. But the art in this is terrific. Yeah, Eric Powell has not lost his touch. It's a fun issue, and it's been one of the better indie books in the last 20 years. If you haven't read The Goon, please do check this out. It's a lot of fun.
Definitely, if you haven't checked out The Goon, I think you're going to like that, especially if you like actual pencil work, because it's fantastic. Next up, we have Duke #4, Image Comics via Skybound. Josh Williamson writing, Tom Riley on art. Another really good issue of Duke. Maybe not quite as strong as the first 3 issues because this is more transitory. We get a completion of the breakout from the pit. We're moving Duke to another setting for the ending of this Duke miniseries. Pretty fun stuff. Really good interaction between Duke and the Baroness. We do get to see some more villains from the Cobra side show up by the end of this bad boy. And we do see Duke finally get to the Mars Industries site where all these things are going down that has been leading him to this kind of quest where he's basically going to uncover the beginning stages of Cobra and his tanks and all that kind of stuff. Quite enjoyable. Energon universe is great, and I'm definitely enjoying the G.I. Joe aspect of it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's a brand new take, if you will, like laying the groundwork for a new G.I. Joe in this universe, and I'm all for it. This comic was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The art, the dialogue, the pacing, consequences being set up, the humor, it's all top notch. I love the action in this. I love the vehicle being used as weapons in this. What was done with the fighter jet, I flipping loved it. This issue and series have been fantastic. This is the same guy who's writing Green Arrow, who wrote Night Terrors for DC Comics. Who is this guy? I don't understand right now at this point. I swear there are 2 different Josh Williamsons in the universe right now, and I'm very confused.
No doubt. He's definitely doing his better work over on the Energon universe, without a shadow of a doubt. Our final indie comic book recommendation, Conan the Barbarian, #9, Titan Comics, Jim Zub writing. Roberto De La Torre returning to the art on this book, and it definitely shows. Not that Doug Braithwaite wasn't good, but it certainly looks better with Roberto De La Torre on art. In the last issue we saw, Conan, rather than helping Thulsa Doom and the demons in his head, shoved a sword into his chest to basically thwart their plan. He didn't die. In fact, he was transported back to the Volution Age, another time period that Robert E. Howard had worked in and fleshed out over different periods of his life. Pretty cool stuff here. We do get that ultimate confrontation. If you're familiar with Robert E. Howard's Volution Age and who Conan the Barbarian should probably run into and maybe fight, you're probably going to get all that in this one. Lots of fun, lots of action-packed stuff. and I'm very intrigued how they're going to get Conan back to the right time.
This was my pick of the week, and it was so great getting Robert De La Torre back. It's like setting foot in a warm bath on a cold day. It's amazing. But look, the line work, the colors, the lettering, everything is top notch, and setting the bar as to which a comic book should be produced. Jim Zub's storytelling is perfect here as well. The action, the pacing, the Robert E. Howard type narration, the Easter eggs, like you brought up, of prior Conan antagonists and other Robert E. Howard creations that show up here, the action sequences, what's not to love here? Not like, but love. This is everything a comic book should be right here. This issue, this is how you do it. If you're not reading this and you're reading Marvel Comics, fix yourself. Pick up Conan the Barbarian. Jim Zub's another one like Josh Williamson. I swear, they're two different guys. The guy at Marvel, I really don't care for it. The Jim Zub here on Conan, I love this guy. I want more of him. Wes, what more do we have to do to get people to buy this book? Explain it to me.
I think it's the best-selling book in Titan Comics history, so I think people are buying it. Maybe not as much as they should, but it's right up there with the Energon universe. I would say it's below Transformers so far, but I would say it's above Ultimate Spider-Man #3, which is our next book to talk about. Jonathan Hickman writing, Marco Cicchetto on art, and this is a fantastic comic book. I'm really buying into this. I do think to this point, Jonathan Hickman hasn't done a whole lot to make you like Peter Parker or let you know why he's awesome. We do finally get some like daddy-daughter stuff where he's trying to pick out his new costume with his daughter. He might be being a little bit inappropriate by swinging through the city with her latched to his back, but I kind of like them throwing that in there. And he even had a couple of maybe self-effacing moments where he's talking to J. Jonah Jameson as well as Uncle Ben, talking about, oh, what about the Man in Black? He's so cool. He's so hip. He might be an everyman. Obviously, he was talking about himself. So I do think they're throwing a little bit more character work on top of this, which definitely helps. But the concept itself has been absolutely amazing. And I would say by the response to J. Scott Campbell's Ultimate Spider-Man #4 variant covers, which apparently are already sold out just a couple of hours into it, people are digging this.
For me, I would say this series as a whole, and this comic in particular, it's good. It's a perfectly fine comic. The action, storytelling, the dialogue, the pacing, it's all good. I mean, there's nothing really amazing or spectacular or ultimate about it. When you're starting for something great, I can see why people will say this is the bestest comic ever. This comic felt like, to me, it felt like it was written by a computer. It felt like it's missing the human element. It's missing the human condition. I feel like there's no legitimate emotional connection here as compared to something like Feral or Conan. The stuff with the daughter, I should be feeling something there, but I don't. It feels like it's all synthetic and not really human. With that being said, it's just fine. It's good. As soon as Jonathan Hickman can figure out that the human element, I would say he's got a massive hit here. He'll have something truly ultimate or amazing here. It's good. It's fine. If you're starting for something Spider-Man that's really good, do check out Ultimate Spider-Man. It's good.
Man, you are a heartless robot if you can't get into the Peter Parker-May Parker relationship. It's the only thing he's done right so far, just as far as the Peter Parker stuff.
I understand. I should be feeling something for it. I should be. It doesn't work for me. I'm not feeling that connection there as compared, like I said, with Feral. And I hate cats. And I feel concerned. And I care for those cats. I feel more concerned for that than I do the daughters. I get nothing from that relationship with him and the daughter. This
is performative. You don't believe it. You're just saying it to be that guy. Come on. That relationship is great. It's way better than the cats. I want all the cats to die in Feral.
No, me too. I hate cats, and I care for the cats. I wanted to see them try to make it out of it. And Trish did a great job getting me to care for the cats.
Don't care for any of those cats. I hope they all died. But I do care about May Parker. She's a real living, breathing character within that universe. I think it's great, but obviously we can agree to disagree here, Drew.
Yeah.
We can't also agree to the fact that DC produced nothing worth recommending this week. Green Arrow has just fucking died. I don't even know what happened to the book.
No, and like I said, another Josh Williamson. Who the hell is this guy? Because he writes a masterpiece like Duke, and you read this, it's like, are you sure it's not two different Josh Williamsons? It's like the movie Enemy. You got two different Jake Gyllenhaals running around. What the hell's going on here? And then you have, like I said, uber comedian Mark Russell and his Batman Space Age. Like, this is garbage. This is a garbage week from DC. They have done nothing to improve themselves. If we got this to look forward to this summer with their big event, like, I am terrified for DC.
Yeah, but if you would like something that isn't garbage, and maybe it's not even on this list, you have something out there with you, Marat Michaels, working together still up on Kickstarter for one more week?
Correct. 7 days ago. Pray for the Sinner. Number 6. We just crossed $25,000. I want to say thank you to everyone who's backed this, supported this. It's only a 2-week campaign, written by Murat Michaels, co-written by myself and Dietrich Smith on the art. Beautiful covers by like Sora Sung and Greg Bo Watson. There's nothing not to love with this book. And you're going to love the action in this. It all comes to an end with this issue. You do not want to miss out. 7 days to go. Please back Pray for the Sinner, guys. You will love it.
And if you're looking for more awesome comic book reviews, we do a show on the Patreon called the Hot or Not Podcast with Jim. It's like 2.5 hours, sometimes even longer than that, where we go through all the new stuff from Marvel, DC, indie comic books, the good, the bad, and everything in between. If you're looking for a more comprehensive look at the new comic books this week, and you get it a few days early because it does come out on Thursday, definitely check that out. There's a link in the video description. Jim and I have a lot of fun. And if you go to that tier, you also get all the doc stuff as well.